of the United States of America, President Barack Obama.
Good to see you. I just want to say everybody back home, right back at you. We appreciate you. You always give us straight talk.
More taxes.
Well, the thing about it to help with those raised issues is that you get, especially in the black and brown community, we had to bring more business in.
Right, yeah.
This monitor is not on. Let me turn the monitor on. Tony.
You want this or anything?
Yeah.
I got an extra copy there.
I didn't touch it.
It's on. Okay, I can't, it still ain't coming up there. I don't know what happened.
Sure, I have another sheet of paper in that box. Let's see what's there. Yeah, the one that you just typed up.
There it is.
Yeah, no, is that it there? Yeah. Do you want both of them or just one? Give me both. Let's see. Are they the same?
I think they are.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's okay.
Straight Talk. Welcome to Straight Talk. Welcome to Straight Talk. Welcome to Straight Talk. First African President of the United States of America, President Barack Obama.
Good to see you. I just want to say everybody back home, right back at you. We appreciate you. You always give us straight talk.
And welcome to Straight Talk. Well, today we're going to talk about the most important thing a person can think about that they need, a person that should know that they need. We're going to talk about that today and talk about how we keep it real. And I have two commissioners, one commissioner and one future commissioner, to talk about that, the commissioner of the Water Reclamation District. Sitting next to me is my very good friend for many years, Commissioner Frank Avila. Good to have you, Frank.
Oh, glad to be on your show.
Thank you. And sitting next to Frank is our junior host for Straight Talk.
Yes.
He's running for the Water Reclamation District as a commissioner. Mr. Commissioner, Mayor, Trustee. He's been a politician for quite a while.
A statesman.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Deyon Dean. Mm-hmm. And Deyon Dean, as I said, has been a politician for some time. So I'm putting him with my very good friend. I know he's going to take care of you and let you know what areas you should take when you win that position.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Frank, tell us how we're going to win that commission.
Well, we have to go out and meet the people. We have to go knock on doors. We have to put up our signs, get in the newspapers, and inform the public, because we cover all of Cook County. There's 5 million people here in Cook County.
That's
and,
all?
That's all, 5 million people in Cook County. The state is about 10 million, so we're here in Cook County, we're about 5 million. I will say 2.5 million in the city of Chicago and 2.5 million in Cook County. So when you combine the city and the county, about 5 million people.
Okay. Do you agree with that?
I agree that it's about 10 million statewide, and then the 5 million. I do agree with those numbers.
Right.
And I agree with him that a whole lot of door knocking has to take place.
I don't know why I disagree with that so much.
Give or take a number or two.
Yeah. No, I just feel, it's always said that blacks are a minority. Mm-hmm. And they talk about how Now, yeah, sure, it's a minority because 80,000 people were sent from the projects to the suburban area. If you believe there's only 80,000 people in those projects, you're crazy. You know, it may have been 80,000 registered. But what about the relatives and things that they can't register because they can only have so many people per apartment?
Exactly.
But they're not going to turn their relatives down who come in
Yes,
from the
sure.
south. They're going to give them some place to stay right there with them.
Yes.
And almost every apartment that I knew of when I was palling around with those people, they all had relatives.
Well, the thing about it, right now, the 2020 census is going right now. So you're correct. In a whole lot of the homes, a whole lot of the apartments, people are not being counted because they don't want to be counted.
Right.
So I'm in agreement with you. There are more people than what we actually,
Have counted, right.
have counted, because the census are never really going to be correct, because a lot of people especially in your lower income communities, or those who may be here as, illegally here, or whatever the situation may be, they're not being counted. So definitely that number, that's why I said give or take it too, because that number is not 100%.
Well, see, it could be counted. It could be counted now legally. We should let them know, if you're watching this program, you can be counted legally now because you're not in a public housing situation where you got to be limited to so many people per apartment.
But now now you have your I would say more so, you do have some Section 8 issues where you have people who actually
Section 8, yes.
Yeah, they have those benefits of getting a home, and then they basically have families move in with them, and that's a source of income.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, that's why I agree that that's how the count goes.
Yes.
But then you got to look beyond that count. But doesn't mean anything to look beyond it because the people are not going to vote anyway. They're not going to come out and give their names. They're not going to vote. So our mission should be to control things more properly, get those people to understand that you're not voting for a leader. You're voting for a what, right?
Yeah, you're voting to stay healthy.
No.
Yeah, because what we do at the district, it's a presidential election coming up, and that's the number one position, the president, they say. But the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago is more important than that president.
Absolutely.
Because we deal with health. We deal with protecting the health and welfare of the public. And every time I go out and give a speech, they all want me to say, Frank, how could you remove the pharmaceuticals from the wastewater, from the discharge after you treat the wastewater? And I said, it's very difficult because our plants were not made to remove these toxic chemicals or pharmaceuticals. Right. And I tell them, I said, the only way is prevention. And that's why what's prevention is how do you stay healthy? How does a person stay healthy? And you have to change their behavior. And I've been teaching a plant-based diet.
All the way.
So they say, how, and that will relieve taking pharmaceuticals. Because as I mentioned, the president is considered the number one office on election day.
Right.
But our office is the number one and number two office on election day because we deal with health. We deal with how to protect the kids, make them healthy so they go to school, get an education. And we'll go out and educate, like when we're elected, when Deyon Dean and Commissioner Frank Avila get elected, we're going to go work out a plan and go visit these communities and explain to them what we do at the district. Very few people in Cook County or in the state of Illinois.
So you're doing what I asked you. I knew you misunderstood what I was asking you. What is it, Dean? What are you to the people?
We're servants to the community.
Sir.
So
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're talking about serving the community.
Yes.
We're serving. And that's I believe that's what Commissioner is speaking to. Is
Yes.
that once I'm in there, he's already in there. But I am looking forward to working with him so we can go out there and be servants to educating
Right.
the community on ways to better be a prevention to many of the issues we're speaking to
and
right
get
now.
all these other people who are elected by them to start serving.
Right. Start serving. We service people. Also, we're the largest wastewater agency in the world. We have the largest wastewater plant in the world. We have 7 wastewater plants.
Wow.
1 is the largest in the world. 3 of them are considered the largest in the USA. And we have the 2 largest reservoirs in the world. We have the largest phosphorus removal plant in the world up here on Calumet on 100. We have the largest ultraviolet treatment plant in the world. We are big. Our budget is about $1.1 billion, is reduced from last year of $70 million. And we are the expert in treating human waste and all the other waste that comes into our system. And the problem that we're going to be facing, and this is where Dean and I were talking right before the show, is that we're going to have to rehabilitate our plants. Our blowers, our equipment are over 75 years old, and we have to have a strategy on how to, what to repair first, because we have to service the people, and we have to make sure that when the waste comes in, we treat it, continue treating it. So we have to work out a plan on where to spend our money and what projects to use. And by doing that, it's going to require tradespeople. And tradespeople and a lot of our people have to get into trades. What do you think of that, Dean?
I agree. I believe, I know for a fact a lot of our people need to get into the trades. And as we speak about budget, I think it's extremely important that we be the stewards of assuring that how that budget is being spent is being spent on trades, and making sure that we educate the communities on what's going on, as well as getting people trained up in order to do some of the jobs, to fix some of the things that you're saying that have gotten older over 75 years.
Yeah.
We need to be able to get those individuals in. But as well, Frank, I'd like to add to that is that, we want to make sure, because a lot of these projects are done with major companies through the budgets that we have, that we assure that in the black community, the brown community, that we are some of those principal projects as far as the funding. We are principal on those projects, so that funding is going into our communities, because if we don't have money trickling into the community, we can't build those. As far as the training, and I'll have to learn that through you all, where is the training going to take place? Is it going to take place in our communities? Is it going to take place already at facilities that we have? But if it's not at the facilities we have, we need to be able to have those built, and it's going to take us to be able to do those things in the community.
And also we have to make sure that we have participation not only as employees with us or contractors doing the work for us. We have to make sure that we have businesses included.
Correct.
Right.
That's a key. Businesses. Yeah.
I raised my hand.
As a business owner.
And also, it's a combination of keeping the public healthy, especially the kids. Mm-hmm. The kids today are being born with adult diseases. And we have a lot of problems out there. Autism, diabetic, heart disease. So, and we have to make sure that they stay healthy so they could get a good education. Education is the key. Mm-hmm. So everything comes into play. Mm-hmm. When they're born till you get older.
Right. I see young people with sciatical nerve pain. Young people. I mean, in their late teens, early 20s. So what are you putting in your system? Because you get sciatical nerve pain at your age. Why good? Cows and hogs and chicken and pigs, everything that's dead. Yeah. You cannot sustain life with death.
Yeah.
And water is a part of life.
Correct. Quality water.
Yeah. Water is life.
It's life. You're
Water,
right.
yeah. I'm a plant-based diet person. That's all I eat is plant-based.
Right.
And they're always asking me, Frank, where do you get your protein? And I said, don't worry about your protein. Protein is only about 8% in your body. You only need 8%, 9% a day of protein in your body. The good Lord made our body 65% water or more. So we should be concerned on water, the quality of water. And part of our mission at the district is to protect our water supply, Lake Michigan.
Yes.
Right.
You know what? In the world, the whole world, 1% of it is surface water for drinking purposes. 1%. And 20% of that 1%, 20% of that 1% is in the Great Lakes. So we're living in God's country here. Now, 20% of that 1% is right in the Great Lakes. 90% of all the surface water in the United States is right here in the Great Lakes.
Right.
I mean, this is very few people know that.
Right.
So we have to make Dean and I have to make sure that, as a commissioner, we make sure that our water supply, no one discharge any toxic chemicals, and try and destroy our water supply. Look what happened. What happened up in Indiana,
Michigan.
Michigan,
Michigan,
remember?
yeah. Flint, Michigan.
Where-
Is that Flint?
No, I'm talking about recently,
Oh,
recently.
something
where
more
they
recent.
discharged
Right.
some chemicals
Right.
and polluted the water there.
Exactly. I just recently read that information that they just went through that issue, and that's something that we don't want to happen here. And a lot of it, and Frank, you can correct me, dealing with the reuse of our storm water
Yeah.
and things like that
Yeah.
need to be taken care of.
Yes, yeah. What Dean is talking about is that we have to learn to recycle what we do. You know, very few people understand what we do. We have 3 missions, okay? One mission is to protect our water supply, Lake Michigan, because we need water to live. Water is life.
Right.
All the creatures on the planet need water. The good Lord made water life.
Now you're sounding like our mayor. You know what she said, right?
No.
She said, they're talking about turning people's water off for bill payment.
Yeah.
You didn't create that water. God created that water for man to live by.
Correct.
Right.
I'm not turning anybody's water off.
And that's good, because if you turn that water off, water is life.
Right.
People need water to live. So are you turning their life off? You can't do that. So that's what we do. We protect the water supply, Lake Michigan. Our second mission is manage flooding throughout the county, except the city of Chicago. The city of Chicago has their own stormwater management program, but we help them also. We just finished giving them about $25 million to do a little deep tunnel on the north side. We help them on all their green infrastructure, and also we help other municipalities throughout the county. Right. So that's flooding. The third issue, which no one likes to say, because, you can't use that. And that's why I said that we're the number 1 and number 2 agency in the world. See, and people will, they like the word number 1 and number 2.
Exactly.
But what I say, I don't say number 1 and number 2 when I go give talks. I say we treat pee and poop number 1 and number 2.
Right.
See? Because when a person eat and drink,
It has to be.
they have to what? They have to
Eliminate-
eliminate
eliminate,
themselves,
yeah.
go to the washroom, they flush their
Exactly.
toilet. When people flush their toilet out of sight, out of mind, no one thinks where it goes.
Right.
It has to
No
be-
one
yeah.
thinks where it goes.
Right into the lake.
And then it has to be treated. Has to be treated.
It has to be treated.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be
Yeah,
treated.
it has to be treated. And
treated from the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We treat all the human waste. We are the experts. And we treat every day 500 tons of it every day. Move out of our plant.
You know what? You just stopped me from drinking.
Stop you from drinking
water.
No,
because of that.
No. Analyze it, though. Is that when you have a glass of water, okay? It's called water. It's called water. And then you drink it. Now you're drinking water, right?
Right.
That water moves through your body and picks up all the nutrients in your body. And what do? You pee it out. right? So now that P is what? Water and nutrients.
Right.
So then what they do, they separate the P, they separate the water and nutrients, and they recycle that water. And that's what they're doing in California, in Orange County. They're recycling the water, and they're using P for a drinking purpose because it goes through the water filtration plant. And that's what we're facing here, a shortage of water throughout the world. I mean, a lot of people are going to come and live here in our area 20 years from now because we got
The most water.
water.
Yeah.
So we have to learn here. People living here has to learn about how to conserve, and so that's what we do. We treat human waste.
But you know, we still have Lake Michigan.
Oh yes, yes, yeah. Well. See, we don't use that in the water filtration plant. We use our water supply, Lake Michigan. That's what we do. But in other places of the country, that's what they're doing.
Right.
See, when we discharge after we treat 1 and 2 in our plants, the 2 portion of it, the poop portion of it, is turned into fertilizer, and we give it to golf course, we give it to farmers, we give it to the Chicago Park District, or Riverdale Park District.
A lot about Greenland.
A former mayor
Yes.
of Riverdale.
Yes.
We had a session out there demonstrating how we spread the biosolids on their baseball fields and everything. Was about 2 years ago, we had a big event out there. And so we're recycling your waste and turning that into fertilizer. The farmers, what did they used to use? They use manure. Farmers use manure, but what's the difference between manure and our waste, our poop? We treat that poop and remove a lot of the toxic chemicals. Where the animals that that eliminate their manure, they eat a lot of the grass that maybe been sprayed by toxic chemicals. So when they eliminate their manure, it has all that toxic chemicals in it, but that's allowable, and they're using it for growing their crops. But our fertilizer has been treated.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, he's giving you the thoroughness of what's going on. But I do think too, though, and especially one of the things and the reason why I'm running too with Frank is because there's a void in Cook County in the South suburban area. We had once had Tim Bradford, who was a commissioner out here, who was able to keep his eyes on what's going on. Many of the projects that we just spoke about, he was able to be there and be a part of that. And again, the importance of this area, I want to assure as we're moving forward, because we know we have projects going on in the north portion of the city of Chicago, that we're getting some of the same values out in the South suburban Southland area, because again, with that budget being as huge as it is, we need to assure, because this is one of the things I did do, Frank. I looked on the website and I was looking at how the projects are being worked. And I noticed a lot of the projects in the suburban area they were saying that it was ongoing.
Yes.
No projects were complete. But when I looked in other areas, I saw that there were projects that were done and completed already. So I'm like, the question in my mind was, why aren't we complete with any of the projects that they're doing in those particular areas? Is because I feel as though we need representation. We need someone who's going to stay on top of how those projects are being done. And while we're doing that, I look forward to working with the total body, which is Frank and other commissioners who are already there, to assure that we're educating people on how things are going to be done properly with the funding that we have in the county, which is the largest budget, if I'm correct, Frank.
Yes.
It's the largest budget in Cook County, right?
Yeah, well, besides Cook County government
Okay.
and the city of Chicago. The city of Chicago has the largest budget in Cook County, and we're right there. I mean, we are big. We're like the 4th largest agency in the state, probably. The state is big. The city of Chicago is big. Cook County is big, and we're right there.
Yes.
We're right there. But the difference in our finance that we're watching our budget, but Mayor Deyon here, Dean, is that we need Deyon Dean on the board. We need him to be a commissioner because, as he mentioned, Commissioner Tim Bradford, he passed away and left a vacuum there on the south side. And Commissioner Deyon Dean
Yes, sir.
is going to provide service to that vacuum there on the south side, because you know all the waterways is flowing south, and it flows down on the south side. You know, all the flow of the river,
Yes.
Calumet River. So what is that doing? Where do you think a lot of flooding is occurring?
In the
South side,
Southland.
South Plains. So that's why we need D&D, because he as a mayor, he understood the budget, he understood the expenses, and he understood how to take care of the people. Because most of the expenses are in the real estate taxes also, because that's where we get our revenue. So Deyon Dean has that experience already. Dean.
Yeah, definitely have that experience, but I had an opportunity also when I ran for mayor to deal with a water issue, which on my north side of the town was flooding on a consistent basis for many, many years, destroying the infrastructure of many people's homes. And we did a televised thing, Frank, where we went in and we looked at the piping in the community. A lot of that dealing with the infrastructure, those pipes were rusted out. So even though we have in the filtration at the plants being done, by the time they get back to our communities, the waters that are coming into our home, the water that we bathe with and different things like that are contaminated. So we want to assure through the infrastructure side, and I know everything is not on the water reclamation to do, but to be a voice to other areas that actually work on those projects, that we partnership with them as well to see to it that things are being done in the community. But I want to say one thing about Frank. What's important to me and what I am taking pride in and running is that we have an individual who's been on the board for many, many years, who has the experience and knowledge of a lot of these issues. I don't.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to get there and I'm gonna have to learn those things. And coming on board and having someone with the wealth of knowledge that he has is going to be a plus for me, with knowledge that I have already, as he's spoken to, as far as budgets and different things of that nature, to be supportive of what we're going to try to do to educate community, but also assure that projects are being done appropriately.
And also, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that, because as Deyon Dean was the mayor of Riverdale, he had the opportunity of talking with other mayors here in Cook County.
Yes.
And we deal with about 126 municipalities. We deal with all the mayors. And this is where Dean will come in with his knowledge and education and serving the people as mayor of Riverdale to talk to the mayors. And he probably knows maybe all the same mayors.
I know a lot of the mayors, and have had an opportunity to build some relationships with them. And one of the things that's good, I feel, in obtaining the knowledge and being able, as we go out into the community, Frank, is to be able to really bring them together and really understand the issues that affect them, that we as a commissioners can do to support their area.
Well, the Chicago area has really conditioned a lot of politicians into that other realm where they think they're leaders. And they go out and sell the city parking meters without a referendum. Without a referendum of the people. Now, I know if someone ever filed a complaint and they get before a judge, his excuse is going to be, well, I thought the aldermen talked to their people. They came in, I had them to vote. They voted in the end. So I figured they had talked to their people already. It's not for me to go from ward to ward to talk to the people. He's going to talk himself out of it. And he's right. The aldermen should have, when they talked about the budget, talked about the water, the fact that they want to do this, the first thing they should have done was go to their constituents and say, what do you think about removing the parking meters? Yeah, if you remove them out of our area and don't bring them back, good. Okay? But all jokes aside, the people would have said, no, don't remove those parking meters, because those parking meters keep our streets cleaned. Keep our streets, holes in the street repaired. That's what the public would have said.
Sure.
But they didn't ask. They just sold them.
Yeah.
Well, as you're speaking about WL, as you're speaking about the leaders, the servants of the community, as that what we are, servant to the community, That's what our job is going to be. Our job is to be servants to the community. Also, our job is to talk to these aldermen in these communities, these mayors in the communities.
And tell them what their responsibilities are.
Understand what the issues are and work with them. We're not trying to be over anyone. We want to be of assistance to the community to the best of our ability to assure what we do as commissioners in the water reclamation, that it's a benefit to the taxpayers in the community.
Yeah, the key is to listen. The key is
Right.
to go out and communicate. The key is that when we're elected, the key is to provide a service to the community, not a service to us.
Right.
We're elected to provide service, and that's the key. A service where we could keep the expenses down and the benefits up.
Correct.
And that's very, very key too. And you know what happens, all politics are local,
Yes.
Yes, it is.
but we have our brain fixated on Trump. We got to vote. We got to vote him out. We got to. The Constitution says, because the American people may not be sophisticated enough to elect the right person to the office of president, we have the Electoral College to straighten it out. Now, what can you do? You can vote your butt off, and if you're not voting the right way, he's going to be president anyway.
Yeah.
He had lost by almost 3 million votes to Hillary Clinton,
Yeah.
and he still became president.
But you said the key points, though, WL. All politics is local.
Local, right?
Everything
That's what
starts at
we
home.
should be fixated on local,
Yes.
Yeah.
local
Yeah.
politics.
There's nothing we can do on that level other than just to do our duties and vote the right person in. But as far as the
But
local,
you can't vote the right person in.
well, to the best of our ability of what we do in our
Yeah,
own
well,
research.
like we voted, like I said, almost 3 million votes more for Hillary than Trump. So what did that mean? If you got she won by almost 3 million votes, and still he became the president. And so I wouldn't fix my brain on that. Yeah, his name is on the ballot, and voting for people, so I vote for him too. I pick one to vote for. It doesn't matter. Democrat or Republican, what difference does it make?
But you know what, Frank, you said it earlier. You talked about one of the key things to do is to go door to door.
Door to door.
And we
Right.
need to get out here and educate these people because that's going to be our job.
Yeah. Meet the people.
Meet the people.
Right. Well, we are educating them right now.
Right.
Let's take a little break
Okay.
and think about this for a second. Think about what role can we play with the politicians, with their attitudes today in Chicago. Not talking about the rest of the country, just Chicago.
Gotcha.
But most of the country understand it. No, I see a lot of stuff. I see police officers being mishandling people in other states.
Well, I know you're going to a break, so we'll talk about that when you.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
No, I was going to say something, but I didn't want to start it. So.
We'll be right back after these messages.
No,
Hey, look, it's those guys.
Let's do those pearly whites, man.
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to try?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's the sound? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Stoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees.
Tropical World. Come to Golden's Tropical World for tropical fish of all sizes, colors, and types, and other small animals like iguanas, and birds from all over the world. There are beautiful tanks, pet supply needs, including dog and cat foods, and expert consultation. Check out Golden's Tropical World, 8611 South Ashland Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. Call ahead, 773-239-8809. Your Pet Shop.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Why?
Why?
Why are you following me?
Why my hoodie make me look suspicious?
Why does my music make me dangerous?
Why are people that are supposed to protect me attacking me?
Why are you afraid of me? Why do you think I'm dangerous?
Why do I afraid of people who are supposed to protect me?
Why can't I make a peace sign without you labeling the gang sign?
Why does standing your ground only work when I'm on the ground?
Why do you show this photo over this one?
Why do you only stop and frisk me?
Why do you have low expectations for me?
Why can't I run down the street without causing alarms?
Why do you think I'm a thug?
Why do you assume I'm armed?
Why can I breathe? Why is my mom scared every time I leave the house?
Why are you targeting me?
Why am I a target?
Why?
Why? Why? I know why.
And it has to stop.
It must stop.
Because I have dreams.
Because I can change the world.
Because I will make a difference.
Because I have a family.
Because I am strong.
Because I'm talented.
I have a voice.
I can find a cure.
I have goals.
I can lead the country.
I am determined.
I have a future.
Because I'm a scholar.
I am powerful.
I'm someone's friend.
I'm someone's brother.
I'm someone's son.
Someone loves me.
And because my life matters too.
My life matters.
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 All lives matter.
And so did theirs.
What's it like working with your family? Good question.
Right, great question.
Original Soul Vegetarian was established over 38 years ago from our parents, so we're second generation owners.
Back then in the 80s, nobody knew what vegan looked like.
But if you say, oh, this is barbecue, they'll eat it and say, oh, it's good.
Original Soul Vegetarian has been an anchor in this community. At least 90% of our clientele aren't vegans.
It has helped the community a lot with being aware of healthy eating and healthier options.
Most of everything that we sell is sourced locally, and it's all made in-house because it's just not about food for us. Your health is your wealth. Just add something healthy to what you're eating. You're gonna feel better.
The owner does a show here as well.
Yeah, well, Karen Calabrese. Do you know Karen? Karen Calabrese?
You know Karen Calabrese? You know I know Karen.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're talking about politicians and politics. And I'll say it again, all politics are local. We can stop fixating our brains on Trump. Let him do his job and you do your job. Take care of your community. Get your politicians to do what they're supposed to do in the various positions that they're holding. Am I saying anything wrong?
Oh no, you're right on. It's local. We have to concentrate on local.
Concentrate on local.
Yes, and like Dean and I, we have to go meet the people. Meet the people to tell them why we're running for commissioner of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago, and tell them the importance on why they should vote for us to be the commissioners, because we want to provide a service to them, not to us. That's the key. We have to, and because it's so important that in the Water Reclamation District, we deal with health. We deal with protecting the health and welfare of the public. And how do we do this? We have to go and educate them on even proper diet. I mean, we cannot force a person to change their behavior, but we could educate them how to change their behavior. And because everything that they do during the day, they get up in the morning, they'll go wash their hands, they use soap, they'll go brush their teeth, they'll drink a cup of coffee, they'll cook their food, they'll take a bath. Anything they do during the day, all day, comes into our system. Believe that?
Yes,
comes into anything they do. And so what comes into our system, we have to educate them on a good diet. If they have a good diet, they'll live longer. And we could treat everything that comes into our system. Products that they buy have a lot of toxic chemicals. The cosmetics that they use are toxic. I was at Dean's Affair last night, and I mentioned to them that lipstick, I call lipstick the kiss of death. The reason I call it kiss of death is because it has lead.
Wow.
and so when they kiss,
right,
they're gone. Also, I call cosmetic toxic beauty. There's a lot of cosmetics out there that have a lot of toxic chemicals in them. So we have to, and these comes into our system, and they want us to remove everything. So if we could educate them on what to use, they'll stay healthy, and we don't have to have that come into our system. See,
And I think a lot of the education starts with what you spoke to, Frank, earlier, is that we definitely need to get into these schools. We need to get into, the younger the better, and, because we want to catch them at an age that, the comprehension is there. And you'll be amazed that when young people learn things, they can go home. The parents may not ever give them the credit, but they're learning through them. When they're telling them, hey, I learned this in school today about water filtration, the different things we're going to talk to them about, the career levels of what they can go into as far as being in the trades, being principled through companies, owning your company and being able to work on many of these projects. We're going to be able to do those things. These are the things I'm looking forward to, especially within our communities that's lacking economically, lacking on the educational side, lacking on the area of having the tradesmen jobs available on an abundant level. These are the things I'm definitely looking forward to being able to do, speaking to the job that we have as commissioners.
And it's not only tradespeople, engineers.
Correct.
We have a lot of different type of engineers working for us. As Dean mentioned, we're a budget like $1.1 billion, and we have a little under 2,000 employees.
Can I have a job?
When people hear about that, Frank, that's the first thing they're asking. They want a job. They're like, can I get a job?
Yeah.
And you know what?
$1 billion. You can't spend $1 billion. You can give me half of it.
But the thing about it, you got to, and this is not to talk about, the elected body, but we definitely need to make sure that there's a level of fairness when it comes to jobs and how jobs are being, put out into the contracts and all those things. Those are the things I am going to take a hard look at when I get on that board, how those contracts are being done. And I'm not speaking, Frank, just to subcontracts. I'm talking about principal contracts. Because if we're going to change the conditions in our community, get people to want to eat more healthier and do those things, we have to be principled in those areas. We have to have the revenue coming in so we can continue to educate as well.
Be the shining example.
Yes.
Yes.
Like Frank here, he's plant-based diet. You don't have sickness.
Well, you know why I became a plant-based diet?
Why?
Is that back in 2004, I had prostate cancer, and the doctor at Northwestern Hospital, Dr. Catalano, he took out my prostate, and then my lovely wife took me to a vegan spa in San Diego, California. It's called Optimum Health Institute. And we got there, and I didn't realize what kind of a vegan place it was.
Right.
But we toured the facility, nice facility, and we went into the dining room, and for breakfast, it was raw vegetables and vegetable juice. And for lunch, raw vegetable and vegetable juice. Dinner looked just like breakfast and lunch. Raw vegetable and vegetable juice. I thought my wife was nuts. My kids called. I said, I think your mother went nuts because I'm here at the facility eating nothing but raw vegetable and vegetable juice. And the first week was hard, very hard on me. And like if you're a smoker, you don't smoke, you're craving, you have that withdrawal.
Right.
Well, before that, I used to eat a lot. I loved all the garbage. I like to put a lot of garbage in my system. And so the first week was hard, but then the second week, I fell into the groove. And the third week, I was convinced. And besides that, they had workshops on education, on why it's good for a plant-based diet, teach different products. And I said, what we're doing here, education, and it was educating me, that as a commissioner I could go back and talk about prevention, on how to educate the people, because if they want to change their behavior, they could, but I could just give them the information, and it's up to them to change their behavior.
Right.
You can't force people to change.
No, you can't force it. No.
But give them an education on the benefit and how they feel good, and that's what I've been doing now, giving talks on prevention. And what Dean says is that if we could educate the teachers, go in and educate the teachers, the teacher will educate the kids will go home and educate the parent.
They already feel that they are educated.
Yeah.
They think they're educated already.
But that's why he's speaking to the fact, once, with him in partnership, some of the things we've talked about doing and looking forward to doing is being able to go in there. It has to be enforced. Because, they do think they're already educated. They do think they know all of these things.
Right.
But if you don't have individuals that know, go in there and actually, we're not forcing anything on you, but we want to, this is a program we're setting up on career day or whatever day they allow us to come in, and we set up a program throughout the entire county that says, hey, this is what we want to do. We want to get them lock, stock, and barrel into what we're trying to do to teach the things he's speaking to, healthy lifestyle. Things they can do as far as career path. All those things, business, career, job, whatever you decide to do, we're going to be teaching those things to the people in our communities throughout the entire Cook County. Some of things are being done already. We're not saying that it's not being done, but we want to enhance those things and assure that certain areas are definitely getting that, and we want to see an impact of change in those areas.
And also on education, that's on the health side.
Right.
We could educate the people. Everyone is talking today about climate change, okay? And we could educate the people. We bought 100,000 oak tree samplings, 18 inches, and we're giving out the oak tree samplings, and to plant an oak tree, because when the oak tree is planted and it grows, it absorbs the CO2, and it absorbs the CO2 and brings it down into the ground. So that's you're helping the climate change. Also, I mentioned that we treat poop, we turn that into fertilizer. We call it biosolids because no one likes to call it poop, but we call it biosolid because we're so educated now we don't use that word.
Right.
We use biosolid. Then we put that biosolid on the soil. It enriches the soil, and the soil will absorb the CO2.
But you got to watch the soil because Monsanto is there.
Yeah, right. Well, no pesticides or herbicides. You're correct. But you see how so we could go out and educate the kids too, educate the teachers on how to set up a garden and what to use on our biosolids to absorb the CO2 and try to get rid of the CO2 in the atmosphere, climate change.
And then, but Frank, what about some of the things in like the algae in the water?
Yeah, algae, yeah.
I mean, there's things that the plant does to use those to make materials out of those, the algae and different things that are in our water. I mean, I learned that going through the tour. When I went through the tour, it was a very interesting tour. And so I learned how they use certain materials that's in the water to be able to recycle and make material out of them. It's great.
And also we'll have tours. We'll go out and set up tours. We have tours now, but we've got to try and get more school kids, more adults to get involved on tours and see why they're living in Cook County and why we're the largest wastewater plant in the world. We are the expert. And we want to go out and educate the public, educate the kids to come out and see why we're the expert. And that's why the whole world comes here to see how we treat the wastewater, the whole world. We should have all of Cook County come here.
Come here, right.
All of Cook County here, and that's where Dean and I are going to start doing. Because they're going to go out and vote for Dean and vote for Avila.
They're going to work for Avila and they're going to vote for Dean. So I'm going to learn a lot through this interview.
Right. A becomes before D, right?
That's right. So we're going to make sure that happens. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited because even if I'm excited for myself and going in, but I'm also more so excited because I have someone I know when I'm sitting down and some of those pertinent decisions that are going to be made, I can bounce them off, get some of that knowledge that I need, and also as we're doing that, assure that I'm working with someone who wants to go to the community and ask them too what their needs are and are we doing and going in the right direction.
And also myself as a former mayor that has the opportunity, the experience how to deal with the mayors. Because you got 125 municipalities, and each community is different. But Dean has communicated with them, and he understands the different communities. So as a team, we'll go on and provide a service, and that's why on election day in March, vote for Avila and Dean for commissioner of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago to protect the health and welfare of Cook County and
March
protect
17th.
our environment. Yes.
Don't just vote for them, spread the word for them.
Yes.
Spread the word. March 17th. Avila. I always say it's wrong. I always say it's wrong. His last name. Pronounce it Avila.
Avila.
Avila. And Dean. I've been saying it wrong for a while. But this is my buddy. I don't want you to think this is not my buddy. I'm always mixing up words and getting them like that. But your vote for us is a vote for support for our community for clean water. Your vote for us is an opportunity to assure, as this budget is being done each year, that we're assuring that jobs, opportunities, contracts, principal as well as subcontracts are going to be addressed for the black and brown community. We're going to assure that when it comes to jobs, that it's going to look like Cook County. It's not going to be looking like just a certain area when it comes to jobs. It's going to look like Cook County. Black, white, Hispanic, Mexican, Asian, all ethnic groups will be involved in the process of making sure that the jobs exist in our communities.
And as Deon mentioned, is that water is life. I mean, we need water to live. All the creatures on the earth, the good Lord
gotta have water.
Said every creature has to have water. I mean, you need protein too, but just that quality of water. You need water is life. The good Lord in the book of Genesis mentioned he put man on the planet to take care of the planet. Right. So and that's what we have to do, and we haven't been doing a good job there.
But see, that kind of throws me when I hear God put the man on the planet, or when God started the planet, talk about Adam and Eve, all that. That goes beyond me.
Yeah.
I'm a preacher, but I also go for my conscience rather than just the Bible. I go for my conscience. My conscience is where God is. I mean, the conscience is God. That's all what it is.
But you see, but what you're saying is right, W. The thing about it is this: if your conscience is your God, I mean, you know, you believe in the spiritual being, but you know that your conscience has a major role in it as well. Then you see what's going on in the world. You see that it's a global warming issue. You see to it, like Frank spoke to the oak trees being able to bring, what was that? When CO2, absorb the CO2. That it's important for us to engage in those type of things to preserve the earth. And preserving the earth is preserving life. So we want to be able to do that.
Because of our habits,
Behavior.
and our training, and our behavior, we melt away if we don't do what society has set up for us. And what they've set up for us is what do you call it when they say, what's life expectancy? What is the life expectancy of a person? You know, it depends on what they eat.
Yeah,
depends on what they eat.
I believe in some places on earth, people are living for a long time if they eat right. I mean, literally eat and deal with their earth contents and the things that are around them the right way.
One quick story. I had a good friend that he came to me one day. We were talking. I had not seen him in about 10 years, and he said, "Well, I'm dying, man. So I'm signing all my wealth over to my children."
Yeah.
I said, "Why would you want to just die?" He said, "I don't want to die." He said, "But it's there." He had diabetes, high blood pressure, other illness. You know, doctors gave him lots of pills he had to take every day. And one that he took, he had to take it 3 times a day.
Yeah.
But each time he took it, it rendered him helpless for at least 6 hours. So taking it 3 times a day, his day is all messed up.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, "Hey man," I said, "why don't you just throw all that medicine aside and come with me?"
Yeah.
He said, "What?" I took him down to Soul Vegetarian Restaurant. I said, "Now, only eat this food over here, raw.
Yeah.
Just eat the raw food."
Yeah.
He said, "Okay, I'll try that." So he ate the same thing I eat.
Yeah.
You know, raw. He said, "Oh man, this tastes good. If this is, I can deal with this." I said, "Good, okay." Then I took him to my yoga class.
Yeah.
And one day, the second day he was there, he said, "I got to go upstairs and get some orange juice." I said, "You got orange juice?" He said, "Yeah." So I went upstairs with him, and he pulled out a plastic, well, not plastic, it's paper carton of orange juice, so-called orange juice. I said, "I thought you said you had orange juice." He said, "Yeah, this is orange juice, see? It says pure orange juice." I said, "Somebody wrote that on it." It's not pure orange juice. And I said, "Here, sit it down." I had someone come up and make him some orange juice. And he said, "Wow, I can see the difference in this."
Yeah.
He says, "Regard the difference." I said, "Yes." So he pushed that aside, and I took him to the market so he could start getting his own fruits and vegetables. And he said, you know, his doctor, his personal doctor, was a good friend of his. They run around together, you know, pal around together. And he went in for his checkup, and the doctor put the thing on his arm, and after a while, he started beating on the arm.
Blood pressure.
He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well," he took that off and he put another one on. He started beating on that one. He said, "What are you doing, man?" He said, "These things, all my things are broken." He said, they got you at 120 or something over 75.
Yeah.
You know, some small figure. He said, "Well, that's what mine shows at home." He said, "You'll show the same thing at home?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, what are you doing, man?" He told me he started eating raw foods and drinking fresh juice. He said, "Oh, you don't know how to take care of yourself, huh? You don't need me no more, huh?" Made a joke out of it.
Yeah.
He said, "So he's not my friend anymore." I refuse to talk to him now.
Well, you know, they built upon, you know, they make a lot of money off you have to take those pills and
Right.
blood pressure pills and different things like that. So again, we got to educate. You know, so that's what it's about.
Okay, for the last 2 minutes that we have on the show, why don't you guys make a closing to the audience?
Yeah, well, I vote for Commissioner Frank Avila and Deyon to protect the health and welfare of the public, to save the planet, and we'll provide a service to you here in Cook County. And Dean?
And I want to say, just to piggyback off what he's saying, I'm 100% behind what he's saying, but also I wanted to say that I'm wanting to fill a void. And again, when we talk about Greater Cook County, it's an area that's not being covered right now by one of the commissioners. There's an absence. I want to fill that absence. I want to be the person to be able to, the things we're talking about, as far as, you know, educating people on what we do, how to plant, going to say the places, yeah, you know what I'm saying, where we work, how it works and benefits the community. But as well, again, to me, you know, clean water, access, infrastructure is very important to me, but assuring that when it comes to contracts, and I'm speaking, you know, for the black community, because that's where I'm from, and that's the majority of the area that I live in, I want to assure that we're a part of everything when it comes to budget. We're a part of everything when it comes to training, creation of new jobs, because as you spoke to, a lot of things now needs to be updated and changed, so that's going to be new jobs. And we're educating the community properly on how that's going to be done and how we are going to be a part of it. Not want to be a part of it, how we're going to be a part of that. So I'm looking forward to working for you and making a difference. I have a good person here in Frank, Commissioner Frank, that's going to assure that, you know, when I'm going left sometimes trying to move too fast, he'll bring me right so we can do things the right way in our community. And I ask for you on March 17th, 2020, to vote for Dean and Avila. I keep saying Avila. I always say Avila, but my tongue is tongue-tied that you're voting for both of us.
It's pretty proper, too.
Yeah.
And also, water is life. Mm-hmm. One of our missions is to protect the water supply, and that's Lake Michigan. And we have to make sure that no toxic chemicals or pollution goes into our water supply, because, as Dean mentioned, that we have jobs are changing to automation, technology. We have to get more of our kids into trades, but they have to be healthy.
Yes.
They have to be healthy, and we have to educate. And we're going to make sure that they stay healthy with clean water to drink, because we're in God's country. We have Lake Michigan, quality water. We have good black dirt to grow our crops. So we want to make sure that you are healthy to do all the jobs that Dean just mentioned.
And remember, when you think of Frank and you think of Deyon, that you think of number 3 on the ballot. You go 1, 2, 3, he's on the ballot, and if you go to the bottom of the ballot, you'll see Dean. I just wanted to make sure our position.
Now, they took my time, so I can't say anything, but thank you very much for joining us on Straight Talk. And whatever they said, I totally agree with them, because they are the individuals that we need in that water reclamation district. Frank's been there now for 18 years. We're going to give him another 6 years. We'll make it 24. Dean will take over after that. After 24, Frank, you should just leave, right?
Yeah.
Well, if everything is running smooth. If it's not, you stay there. We'll see you this time again tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you.